As the reports from Brussels flow in, the voices on television are all saying the same things. We will have a call for tighter security. We will hear anti-immigrant bigotry and hate for the Islamic religion. 9/11, Charlie Hebdo, London, Madrid, Paris, and now Brussels. Every time this happens, the response of the mainstream press and political establishment is the same. One of the classic definitions of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again while expecting different results. This time, why not acknowledge the reality of where ISIS came from and why ISIS remains strong? The leaders of the United States, NATO, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia remain committed to the violent overthrow of the Syrian Arab Republic. The Syrian government, an independent secular state where Sunnis, Alawites, and Christians live together with equal rights under the leadership of the Ba'ath Arab Socialist Party, is in the crosshairs of Western leaders. For the past 5 years, foreign fighters' money and weapons have been flowing into Syria. While Western media has propagated the illusion that the opposition rebels are freedom fighters, revolutionaries, and human rights activists, the reality is quite different. The opposition to the Syrian government is dominated by Sunni extremists who want to establish a caliphate, thereby ending the country's religious freedom. This is not a battle for democracy, but a battle to bring down an independent Arab nationalist state that has supported the Palestinian resistance and presides over a centrally planned economy. The major supporters of the anti-government forces in Syria are autocratic monarchies like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. ISIS did not appear out of thin air. The reality is that ISIS originated as a faction among the anti-government fighters in Syria. ISIS, along with al-Nusra Front, previously called Al-Qaeda in Syria, and other religious fanatics have been receiving military training at CIA camps in Jordan. According to CNN, at least a few ISIS fighters have actually received military training inside of the United States. As the Syrian government, with Russian and Iranian support, is scoring real victories against ISIS on the battlefield, the Syrian-Turkish border remains open. Weapons and supplies continue to flow into ISIS hands from the NATO state of Turkey, which refuses to close its borders. The world has seen the horrors of ISIS crimes in Syria, Paris, and now Brussels. Many people in Western countries are very afraid that they or their loved ones could become the victims of ISIS's next attack. John Kerry recently accused ISIS of genocide. ISIS continues to be a threat and kill innocent people because in reality Western leaders are not fighting a war against terrorism. They are fighting a war against economically independent and nationalist regimes around the world. Since 9/11, they have toppled the secular governments of Iraq, the Islamic Socialist governments of Libya, and the Taliban in Afghanistan. In each of these countries, which were somewhat stable prior to the attack, Al-Qaeda and ISIS have become stronger. As Iranian Revolutionary Guards fight ISIS every day, the US continues to demonize Iran for testing ballistic missiles. As Russia aids the Syrian government and scores real defeats to ISIS, the leaders of the United States accuse Putin of being aggressive and put sanctions on the country. The origins of the Sunni Takfiri current that spawned ISIS go back to the 1980s. Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda emerged as US allies in an all-out fight to destroy the secular People's Democratic Party that took power in 1978. Support for these fanatical extremists remains very strong within the US-aligned Saudi kingdom. Zacarias Mousavi, a convicted 9/11 hijacker, has confessed under oath that the Saudi regime was involved in the planning of the 9/11 attacks. However, Western leaders remain very friendly with the oppressive Saudi regime that works closely with major US oil corporations. The people who have taken responsibility for the horrendous Brussels attacks are the direct beneficiaries of US foreign policy. By opposing independent-minded countries like the Syrian Arab Republic, Russia, Iran, and China, U.S. foreign policy is strengthening ISIS by attacking the enemies of ISIS and similar forces, and in some cases directly arming and training them. Western leaders have created instability and strengthened ISIS. While the individuals directly responsible for the Brussels attack most certainly need to be held accountable, why not hold accountable the leaders of the Western countries who work each day to enable them? The Syrian government has never attacked or killed innocent civilians in the United States or Europe. Neither have the leaders of Russia, Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, or China. If the terrorism of ISIS is to be defeated, this all-out drive to topple independent-minded governments around the world must be abandoned.